the discriminating gamer. The board game review show that, like Freddie Mercury, wants to break free. Say, speaking of Queen, let's talk all about Queen's Necklace from Cool Mini or Not. In Queen's Necklace, from Cool Mini or Not, 2 to 4 players are going to attempt to gain the most victory points by selling jewels. You're all kind of like apprentice jewelers, and you're kind of working with these jewelries. You want to create the Queen's Necklace. So essentially how the game works is, first of all, to set it up, you have to remove 3 merchant cards from the deck. Now you shuffle the deck, and you essentially make 3 equal stacks. You put 1 merchant card at the bottom of each stack. The last one, it's kind of somewhere near the bottom, and then you stack the decks on top of each other. So you know there's the 3 merchants in there, and that's going to be very important because it's going to trigger a sale, which is how you get points. But essentially how the game works is you draw out the other cards. Now everybody gets a certain amount of cards dealt to them, and if there's some special cards, they have to put them back, but generally they've got cards dealt to them. Now these cards can either be certain kinds of jewels, or they can be characters that have different powers and different abilities. Now what you're going to do is on the board you're going to lay out different cards, and different cards have different costs that kind of vary. And players then can, every round they have kind of a fixed $10 or whatever the currency is, fixed amount of 10. They can always spend 10, all things being equal. And what you can do is then you can pick a number of cards that add up to 10 to take out. Now, after you've taken out cards, every card that wasn't purchased, the value drops and the value sinks. So the cards become cheaper. If a card isn't purchased until it gets as cheap as it can go, then it's then taken out of the game, put in the discard pile. But critically, too, as these cards are sinking, you can buy more and more of them. Of course, as new cards come out, they start at the top, and they're going to be more expensive. Now, again, the cards you're buying have all sorts of different abilities. There is a thief. He can steal cards from other players, or an assassin who can try to target special kind of cards. You've got a musketeer who can defend your deck. You've got the king, who's going to be very important when it comes to sales. You can screw people over. And the Queen's Necklace, which can protect you from that. There's going to be all sorts of different things you can play. Now, meanwhile, you have, of course, the 4 key gems. Now, the 4 key gems in this game, of course, are rubies, emeralds, amber, and diamonds. Now, they're on a track, and you essentially randomly put which diamonds go in which fashion slot. Fashion means how many points are awarded. So there's 4 of them, and the first place, you get 3 points for that. The second place, you get 2. Third place, 1. Fourth place, 0. So obviously you want to get diamonds that are in fashion. But also, too, what's going to happen is when you pull out that merchant card, that immediately triggers a sell. Players can go ahead and get all the cards of all these different rubies, and they can put them in pairs face down. Not just pairs, but as many as they want, put them face down. Then, at the same time, everybody flips them over, and we all see how many of these jewels you want to sell. Now, we count up how many different jewels are out there, how many diamonds, how many amber, etc., and the rarest then gets a rarity point. And so that rarity point means it's going to boost its value. And same thing, you count down from 3 to 1, 3 to 0 rather, and you create a rarity track. So now you have the fashion and the rarity. So a card that may not give you any points if it's in fashion, it may be the rarest. It may give you a lot of points in that sense. But only the person who has the most of a specific kind of jewel gets to sell it. Everybody loses their cards, but for instance, whoever has the most rubies gets to sell his rubies. Whoever has the most diamonds gets to sell his diamonds, etc., etc. Now that's really cool, except, like I say, if somebody plays a king card next to a diamond they put out, all the diamonds are worthless that round. Unless you have the Queen's Necklace, then you can still sell them. So that's a way you can kind of screw people over with that specific card. So you add up your points for each sell, and that kind of advances your score for that particular round. You keep going, you keep buying cards, you keep playing tricks on each other and doing fun and nasty things with your cards to the other players, or maybe helping yourself in some ways. And then you hit the second sale, and then finally you'll hit the third sale. You kind of repeat these processes, and then at the end of the game, after that third sale, whoever has the most points wins Queen's Necklace. So what do I think of Queen's Necklace? Well, I've got to tell you right now, it's got some kind of cartoony artwork, and that's, usually that's not my forte. I mean, I played a lot of games that have cartoony artwork, and some of them I'm fine with, but it's just not something I'm necessarily drawn to. I like more kind of serious themes, and so this is not a game. If I saw this on a shelf, I probably would not pick it up, which is a shame because it's a lot of fun. I was surprised how much I enjoyed Queen's Necklace. It really... It's really fun. It's intense, and there's some strategy here. How am I going to play these cards? Which of my opponents do I want to target with my cards? And when I do a sale, how do I want to commit a lot of jewels because I think I have the most, but if I don't, I'm going to lose all of them. Should I play that king, or if somebody else has a king, should I be scared that they're going to play a king? I mean, there's just some really, really fun and interesting choices and dimensions that pop up to this game that makes it have a lot more strategy than you would think a game like this would. The way you're buying cards, it almost feels like a deck builder. It's not a deck builder, but it almost kind of feels like that in some ways. So it's I think accessible to people who play deck builders. But it's just a fun. It's not too hard or difficult. It's a fairly light game, but for as light as it is, like I say, there's a good amount of strategy there. Again, I put this in maybe an opener category for game night, but man, it works. I really, really was pleasantly surprised with Queen's Necklace. So the recommendation for the discriminating gamer for Queen's Necklace is buy it. Thank you once again for joining us today on The Discriminating Gamer. As always, we ask you to please leave a comment for us on YouTube, on Board Game Geek, on our Facebook page, or on thediscriminatinggamer.com. We ask you to please like us on Facebook and subscribe to us on YouTube. We are The Discriminating Gamer, and remember, she's a killer queen, gunpowder longevity, dynamite with a laser beam, guaranteed to blow your mind anytime.
Please somebody help me on my feet again, and I don't know where I'm going, and I don't know where I've been. Please somebody help me on the solid ground. It's a long time, and I'll be dying. Once a year I wind up in the band.
2-1.